Greetings, everyone. Hello, welcome, welcome to another beautiful day on the Daily Antidote of Song brought to us by the fabulous folks at Carpe Diem Arts. Thank you, Carolyn. It is 1,589 days of songs, and there's more songs than 1,589 because sometimes there's more than one song on a day. But it's so wonderful to be here today. I'm Elise Witt coming in from Pine Lake, Georgia, and I'm very excited to bring back a wonderful songwriter who we haven't seen in a while, but we're so happy to have back again, Gitu, and she is from Mexico City, and we'll hear from her in just a moment. But before we do, I would like to say hello to you and you and you and every one of you. So good morning, so good to see you. David and Elsie in Oakland, welcome, so lovely to see you. Dory and Ollie, Susan G in Cincinnati, Aloysius in Massachusetts, Sheila in Florida. Bryn, thank you for making us look and sound so good, coming in all the way from Canada, Montreal. Hello, Adele on your iPhone, Carolyn in Boise, Hoda in British Columbia. Joe is driving, please be safe. Cricket is dancing in Maryland. Sarah and Kat in Vermont. Linda rocking on Orcas Island. Nancy with your Irish cow. Martha, Sarah in Texas. Another Sarah. And Marcia and Carol in Connecticut. Laris in the UK. Let me see, where did you go? Anne in Silver Spring. If I didn't get you on the way in, I will surely get you on the way out. Welcome everyone to the Daily Antidote of Song. Greetings everyone, so happy to be with you today and with my wonderful friend who is coming in from Mexico and spends her time in Mexico and Canada. So here she is, everyone. Gitu, welcome to the Daily Antidote again. So happy to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me. Um, I'll sing the song and just get my note. Hmm. And just a little introduction is that the language we're singing in is Hindi, and you might know this melody. Hum honge kamyaab, hum honge kamyaab, hum honge kamyaab ek din. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ, डाला हाथों में हाथ, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. नहीं डर किसी का आज, नहीं डर किसी का आज, नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. So, hi
Wow.
everyone.
So tell us about this.
Well, as
I'd
many
love
of
to
you
sing
may
it with you.
recognize, this is a civil rights movement song, We Shall Overcome. And to be honest, I never thought I would sing this with people, but it kept coming to me. And this is one of the first songs I learned in India as a child. My cousins were like, we have to teach you this song. So they taught it to me. And in India, it's a song that is sung on August 15th. So that's maybe why it was coming to me. August 15th. And also, the theme of partition, which is related to August 15th, has been really, really on my mind. And it's been kind of coming at me on the radio and in family. And so, what happened on August 15th, 1947, is that the British left what is now India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And at the same time, they removed themselves because they knew they had to at that point. They partitioned the country, or they made it in such a way that Muslims and Hindus decided to have separate nations. And I think part of why it's really with me right now is, well, India has a new prime minister, well, a new old re-elected prime minister who, in my opinion, is really fueling the divide between religious groups. And it's such a heartbreak because before 1947, Hindus and Muslims lived in peace together. And what happened in 1947 was a massacre during which millions of people died. And so, I mean, I think we can all relate to this crazy time where people seem to be dying needlessly. And I'm guessing that there's a universal also feeling of helplessness around these, so much injustice and so much division, in humanity, that feels like, what are we doing? I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but so I think this song for me, it's a translation that is quite accurate. I think the lyrics are there in Hindi and in English. So, and you might recognize some words like Shanti means peace. In the fourth verse, Dar means fear. So all the verses from the original in English have been translated. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We will walk hand in hand, and we are not afraid. And then we sing the first verse again. We shall overcome. So I'd love to invite you to sing it. I'm guessing that most people know this melody, but because it's repeated, I guess we could just jump in. And I don't know if you want some. I'm going to look at the lyrics here.
Gitu, I'm wondering if you might pronounce the words for us.
Yes, that's where I was going. So,
Perfect.
Hum Honge Kamyaab. So that's why in the title I put two double A's, because there are long A's and short A's. Hum Honge Kamyaab. You want to say that? Hum Honge Kamyaab. Hum Honge Kamyaab Ek Din. So that will be repeated. Ek means one, and Din means day. So we shall overcome one day. Hum Honge Kamyaab Ek Din. And then the end of each verse, you can say oh or ho or whatever comes to your heart in that moment. Man me literally means in my mind, but it also means in my heart. In like man is mind or heart. Man me hai vishwas. Vishwas. Vishwas is like faith. So in my heart or mind there is faith, complete faith. Pura hai vishwas. So oh, मन में है विश्वास, if you want to say that. पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. So I'll just say that one more time. You can say it with me. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. The next verse, होगी शांति चारों ओर. होगी शांति चारों ओर. You say it for yourselves. And then with the ek din, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. Now the third verse is the only one that has a little tricky extra line in there. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ. I'll do it one more time. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ. And then the second line is the only one that varies. Dal hathon mein haath. Dal hathon mein haath. It's like hand in hand. So I'll do those two lines together. Hum chalenge saath saath, dal hathon mein haath. And then we repeat. Hum chalenge saath saath ek din. O man mein hai vishwas, पूरा है विश्वास, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. Are we good up until there? And then the last verse about fear. Nahi means no or not. Nahi, so it's very nasal. Nahi. And I know it's spelled Nahi, but if you imagine it as Nehin, Nahi. And dar, it means fear. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj. Aaj means today. So we'll do that again. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj ek din. O man mein hai vishwas. Pura hai vishwas. Nahi dar kisi ka aaj ek din. And then we'd go back to the first verse. So Elise, I don't know if there's anything you'd like me to repeat or any questions.
I think that was beautiful. Thank you for repeating it with us. It's the sounds are so beautiful. The daily antidoters are just great at singing in many languages and picking things up really quickly. So we are here with you, I believe. Am I right, everyone? I think so. Yeah, the big nods and thumbs up.
Yay.
So
Yay.
yeah,
So
let's try the whole thing.
let's sing it all together. And remember that at the end, we'll go back to the first verse. And yeah, I think the melody, if we don't know it, will come quite quickly. So I'll sing it a little bit slower so that we can all kind of get the words. And I think, like you're saying, Elise, part of the joy of Daily Antidote has been, this chance to sing in different languages that we might not hear or be exposed to. And again, for me, in case I'm in Mexico, but I'm half Indian, and Hindi feels so nice in the mouth. So here we go. Let me just make sure that's it. Yeah. Here we go. 1. Hum honge kamyaab, hum honge kamyaab, hum honge kamyaab ek din. O man mein hai vishwas, pura hai vishwas, hum honge kamyaab ek din. होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. Hand in hand. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ. Sorry guys, go back. 1, 2, 3. This is the one with the change. 3. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ, डाल हाथों में हाथ. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. We are not afraid. नहीं डर किसी का आज, नहीं डर किसी का आज, नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन. First verse, we shall overcome. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन.
Oh,
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. You can see people's faces so much joy, but also just gratitude for bringing this in today. Wow. Wow. Isn't it interesting how that song has just made it around the world? I live in Atlanta, so I'm kind of at the hub of a lot of the activism of this particular song. But you know that it's been used, I'm sure it's also sung in South Africa. It's sung in so many places where the struggle to walk hand in hand.
Yeah, and I don't know, for me, I get emotional sometimes singing this, thinking of what it means and thinking of, like you're saying, all the struggles that have used song to rise up and unite and go forward and make change. And so for me, that's so chilling, like that we do this through music. You know, we do it through action and we do it through our voices and we do it together. And yeah. And so as I'm singing it, I'm also imagining all the people right now who, you know, need so much peace and love, to state the
Yeah.
obvious.
I do believe that a movement without singing is doesn't have the same vibration, the same depth. Yeah, we need
Agreed.
that singing.
Agreed.
Um, so do you want to say anything more about India, Mexico, Canada? You are such a world class and world citizen.
Well, if people want to know, I was born in Mexico to a Mexican mother and an Indian father. And I'm very fortunate because on both sides of my family, we're so close to both families. And I think, whether it's chosen family or blood family, we need
Mm,
each other. And in my case, I've been really fortunate to have such close, cousins, uncles, aunts, and also part of Indian culture is um, I mean, there's so much about Indian culture, but for me, it's so much about learning from elders. Um, yeah, like connection to culture and history. I think when people ask me, I'm going to India, what should I do? What should I do to prepare? I always say, read some history books. Really, you'll appreciate and you'll be so much more in India if you read some history books because every country
mm.
has fascinating history, and in India, I think it's quite helpful to know. And again, this theme of partition that's been coming to me, and I've been hearing poems about, like, I'll turn on the radio and I hear a poem written by a Pakistani young Canadian woman who, her name is Zehra Naqvi. She's brilliant. A poem right away I knew she was talking about partition, and I've been kind of trying to unearth some stories because my grandparents were young, like young people when partition happened, and it was such a tragedy. Again, this idea of how division serves others, but not the people who are living there. And so, yeah, I mean, I have a great respect for India, for my family, for everything that I am who I am, thanks to both cultures, and
Mhm. And
also,
you,
this ongoing question of diaspora, and I'm sure some of you can relate of, like, we're immigrants in a different country, and how do we, what parts of us adapt, what parts of us keep what is, from our older countries, or from our lineage. And I mean, an ongoing brilliant discovery and path of, just getting to know ourselves and getting to know others. So yeah, I guess people go, wow, what a combination. And I go, yeah, it's a big combination. It's brilliant. I love it. And I wish I could be in all places at all times.
yeah, and you also you work as a musician in many places. You lived in Canada for a while, in France. You've just finished an amazing project. You want to tell us a teeny bit about it?
Yeah, it's a company in Montreal, Canada, that has been performing Shakespeare in the Park for like almost 4 decades, and traditionally, a play from beginning to end, staged, whether modernly or in an old-fashioned, in a set in the time way. But this year, because of climate change and because of arts cuts, funding in the budgets throughout the arts in Canada, the director said, we have to make a smaller production, and it's really hard to stage a Shakespeare play with 6 people. So we made a collaborative creation based on what was interesting to each person about Shakespeare. And it ended up being this really funny but very poignant piece about uh, some of the comedic characters in Shakespeare, and but also about climate change. And there was a polar bear, because it turns out that there's a play in which a polar bear chases an actor across, and it says "Exit pursued by a bear," and and it turns out that the British had gone to Norway and kidnapped two baby polar bear cubs after killing the mom, and
Oh
took
my
the cubs
God.
back to England. So this was real. So we once we did the research and found out that this was true, it was, just kind of this shocking thing of like, wait, what are we doing? What did humans do? Like what? And what are we still doing? So that made it into the show as a kind of puppet moment with a bear. And so it was just really nice. There was a lot, it was very music heavy. There were sonnets set to music, and um, different songs about Shakespeare, different dances. And so it was a really fun show. And, but, the point for me was the interest in creative collaboration, and how do you get six people in a room to agree on what's going to be
Mm-hmm.
put on stage in four
Mm-hmm.
weeks, which is really a beautiful challenge. And also seeing the audience react to this show. I mean, they loved the comedic side of it, but also the whoa, like this is real, that because of climate change, last year the show got canceled so many times because of hurricanes and winds and this and that. Um, we had a fortunate summer in that regard, but just the reality of the arts need more funding. And oh, how do we convince people that it's important? Yeah, but it was a beautiful experience.
And you've been involved with that company for a long time?
I've worked with them a few times, yeah, in Shakespeare plays, Romeo and Juliet, an all-female Julius Caesar, Twelfth Night, and I wrote music for that. I've written music for plays. Last summer I wrote the music for Cymbeline, but I didn't act in it. And I think on the first daily Antidote of song, you guys played my video of a sonnet that was about Indigenous children, the mass graves that were turning up in Canada and
We
parts of
did.
the US. So
Yes,
that
I
was
remember.
commissioned by this company. Um, so yeah, I've worked with them.
You are a multi-talented artist and
Mm.
human. Yeah, a dancer, gymnast, I'm gonna
Oh,
say,
former.
improviser, playwright, author, etc., and just wonderful human being. So
Aw,
good to see you and good to have you here. Let's sing the song one more time, unless
let's
there's
sing the
anything else you
song.
wanna.
And thank you all for singing with your hearts, because I can see in the faces, I can see just how we're making change and love, and it's really, really touching. Thank you so much for having me. Here's our starting note. Well, it's actually but the key is ba ba ba. So here we go. Here we go. One, two, three. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन। हम चलेंगे साथ साथ, डाल हाथों में हाथ, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन। We are not afraid. नहीं डर के सीकाज, नहीं डर के सीकाज, नहीं डर के सीकाज एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास नहीं डर के सीखा आज एक दिन. Back to the beginning. We shall overcome. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन.
Let's all take a nice breath and take that into our bodies and the space around us and carry it with us for this day and for all days ahead of us. Thank you so much, Gitu. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful, and I can't wait. One of the wonderful things about Daily Antidote is that um, all of these shows are archived, and so I can go back. We can all go back and kind of work on our pronunciation and listen and learn more and pass this on if we can. Thank you so much, so much, so much. Thank you everyone for coming in today. Before we say goodbye, I want to say thank you again to Carpe Diem Arts. Thank you to everyone who's coming in on the live stream. And let me sing a little goodbye. Thank you, Gitu, for this beautiful and powerful, strong song. Thank you, David and Elsie. Thank you, Dory and Ollie. Thank you, Susan G in Cincinnati. And thank you, Cricket, for dancing in Maryland, Sheila dancing in Florida, Bryn making us all come together. And you're in Montreal, so maybe you can see the show. Thank you, Anne in Silver Spring, Caroline and Carolyn, Storm in Massachusetts, and Martha, Mabel and your bears, Ruth across the ocean in Birmingham, and Adele on your phone, Linda rocking on Orcas Island, Julie in Ontario, Linda in Concord, Massachusetts, Aloysius also in Massachusetts, and Hoda in British Columbia. I always love singing your name. Thank you, Joe, for bringing us all together. Safe travels. And Sarah and Kat in Vermont and Nancy in Washington State. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Jamie in Victoria, Marcia in Ontario, Laris in the UK, Sarah in Texas, another Sarah, and Carol in Connecticut, Bob in Massachusetts, Sandy E in Western NC, Elizabeth in California, Candace and Kay. Thank you everyone for being here today on the Daily Antidote of Song. Have a beautiful day. See you all very soon. Keep singing.